After the so-called Anschluss of Austria to the Third Reich in 1938, the Jewish community was subjected to a systematic exclusion, displacement, and extermination. Austria's art and musical life in particular suffered a terrible loss. For many decades after World War II, Austria did not come to terms with its responsibility during National Socialism 1938 to 1945. In Vienna of the 21st century, the time is right for the reconciliation of exiled composers and their musical output.
In 2006, Professor Gerold Gruber founded the Exilarte Society. 2016, it was made into a center and is now part of Vienna's University for Music and Performing Arts.
Since then, an experienced research team has been working to finally bring those composers back home. It is of central importance to Vienna's University of Music and Performing Arts to offer adequate space to artists who were persecuted or made to flee, or were even murdered by the policies of National Socialism, so they can be seen and, above all, regain their voice through musical language. This is why the Exilarte Center was founded, and I am immensely proud of the tremendous work carried out by our colleagues.
It was inevitable that with the work I was doing at the Jewish Museum that I would come into contact with Exilarte, and Exilarte is an organization that inevitably would have to exist in Austria. Austria is a country which has produced perhaps per capita more composers who were thrown out after 1938 than anywhere else. An organization like Exilarte is crucial for understanding exactly the losses that were incurred and in understanding also the continuation of a certain uniquely Austrian musical tradition, which I don't think anybody disputes.
Many artists fled the country and never returned home after 1945. But who were they?
It is difficult to name names, since there's always the danger of leaving someone out. The spectrum of exiled musical voices is very wide. It ranges from film music composed by Erich Wolfgang Korngold or Max Steiner in Hollywood, right across to so-called serious music with composers like Hans Gahl and Egon Welles, or even jazz, which was often interpolated into the works of other exiled composers. And then there is also popular music. Many are unaware that composers such as Kallmann, Bernatzky, Juhrmann, Spielmann or Leopoldi were also forced into exile, which means traditional popular Viennese songs and cabaret are also part of this. There is an enormously vast range of styles and genres.
Austrian emigrants had and still have an enormous impact on film scoring, a fact that is still little known in Austria today. Especially the much-beloved Hollywood sound goes back to the Viennese Max Steiner and Erich Wolfgang Korngold.
I think that it's easy to consider Max Steiner as being the father of film music, because the first really big film score, in the way that we understand film scores, was done by Max Steiner for King Kong. King Kong was very dramatic, very inventive, and very tightly connected to the film. So it had all the elements of what we do in film. So one of these basic things which has become very important in contemporary music all came from Max Steiner.
It is important to open up the music of exiled composers to the general public. Hence the reason why we offer both an archive and space for exhibitions, which we regularly adapt with newly acquired estates.
The exhibition also features a wall with quotes from reasons for suspending colleagues from the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna, like unnecessary, no good teacher, politically intolerable, or at least half Jew, etc. Personal items such as letters, photos, certificates of naturalization, and concert programs let you rediscover the destiny of band musicians and artists. Additionally, you can listen to their music on sound stations.
The musical estates that have come to Exilarte are not just archived and musicologically processed. We are an active center that brings back the forgotten generation of composers through recordings, concerts and publications.
Wir sehen uns als ein aktives Zentrum für die Zukunft.
One of the musical discoveries was Erich Zeisel, who was considered to be one of the most promising composers of his generation, until the annexation of Austria, which forced his flight to the United States. Exil.arte was able to initiate the premiere of a selection of scenes from his incomplete opera based on Joseph Roth's novel, Job.
During the time of National Socialism, as well as other times and places under fascism, artists were forced to seek safe havens, were forced to emigrate, were suppressed, and if Jewish, murdered, or at the very least, inhumanely mistreated in concentration camps. For this reason, we have the obligation to offer the arts from this period a dedicated platform. Quite a number of individuals left even earlier, and we hope to offer also these artists some opportunities of being heard. Exil.arte's achievements over the past years have been outstanding. They have also been an enormous benefit to Austria's parliament. On the occasion of Memorial Days, we have invited young students from Vienna's University of Music and Performing Arts to participate. I would like to mention Walter Arlen, a gifted composer of art song who, despite his age, still enjoys returning to Austria to attend performances of his works.
Ladies and gentlemen, composer Walter Arlen.
According to Nazis, the music of exiled composers should have been both banned and forgotten. It is therefore our obligation to counteract and rescue the music from oblivion.